UESD. He's also the founder of Air Quality Advisor and Diplomatic Strategist. So, we'll be speaking to Jason Pengu. He is a PhD Chief Technology Officer for Sensit Technologies USA. And then in studio, we are engaging Victor Jidefo Ablo. He is the lead for Clean Air One Atmosphere. But before that, let me quickly bring you our science news for today. Arosha, Ghana wants Ghana government removed as co-chair of Forest and Climate Leaders Partnership as they have failed to lead the world in sustainable forest management by doing the opposite. So, Ghana has recorded 9 new cases of Mpox as of mid-October, bringing the total number of confirmed cases since the beginning of the outbreak to 102. The most recent cases are part of an ongoing global surge, particularly in Africa. The current state of air quality in Ghana has been reported to be hazardous. The concentration of PM 2.5 particles in Accra's atmosphere is alarmingly high at 46.6 times the World Health Organization's annual guideline value. That is scary. What does that mean for all of us? For our science fact, in the Wilson phalarope species, the males are the ones that incubate the eggs and care for them while the females engage in polyandrous behavior, mating with multiple males. That is a very interesting science fact. I will repeat it. In the Wilson's phalarope species, the males are the ones that incubate the eggs and care for them, while the females engage in polyandrous behavior, mating with multiple males. So that's our science fact for today. I guess you didn't know that. Now you know. Let's settle down. Quality. As you did hear from the news, we are at an alarmingly high rate compared to what the WHO stipulates. That's my conversation in the studio. But first of all, let me say hi to the team online. Hello, gentlemen. Can you hear me? Gentlemen, can you hear me? Okay, we'll have to rectify that and be sure that they can hear me. Then we can have that conversation. But while we rectify that, let's engage Victor Jidefo Ablo. He is the lead for Clean Air One Atmosphere. Thank you very much for joining us in the studios. I hope you're well.
Yes, I am. Thank you for asking. Yourself?
I am well. Thank you for asking. I think we can just go straight into the conversation and not beat about the bush. I mean, first of all, I am very worried that our figures are high compared to what the WHO stipulates.
Yeah.
I mean, what does it mean for us?
All right. So basically, with the data that have been recorded of late, stating that the air quality is very bad, and then it's going to affect everything, basically our health. But one thing is that with our health, it's not immediate. It takes time.
Okay.
For instance, you might be having a headache because of the air quality that is poor around you, but you would think probably just stress or something.
Okay.
So there is this difficulty of linking the data with the health. You understand? So with the issue happening currently, where the data is high, all we need to know is that it's affecting our health, and we have to get our health practitioners involved as well to educate us more on the adverse effects of air quality. Yeah,
All right.
basically that's it.
Let me make another attempt to go online and see if our colleagues can hear us.
Sure.
Hi there, good morning. Can you hear me? It doesn't, oops, it doesn't appear so. Let me try one more time. Can you hear me? Okay. So while we try and rectify that, we can continue with the conversation. So, I mean, that is an opener, the effects that this can have on us as individuals. But what are some of the statistics in terms of the insights about global air quality, and how does the situation in Ghana compare to other countries? I mean, we mentioned something in relation to that in the science news, where we are at a very alarming rate compared to what the WHO is recommending.
Yeah. So according to the World Health Organization, basically 99% of the global population breathe in bad air. Right.
Okay, so sorry to interrupt you. Let me try one more
That's
time.
that's fine.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes, this is Collins. I can hear
You
you.
can hear me. Okay, but it's very low. Can you just regulate it and let's see? Can you speak up one more time for me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, this is Jason. Yep.
Okay. Okay, Jason, you can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, and then let me make sure I have the other name correctly. Yes, Collins, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you. Can you hear
Okay.
me right?
Yes, I can hear you too. So
Excellent.
there's a question I was asking Victor, but I'll take that question from him and put that to you, Collins. That is in relation to the statistics globally, how Ghana is faring compared to the rest of the world in terms of the air quality.
First off, thank you so much for the opportunity, and thanks again to Dr. Thomas and everyone for putting this together. And also thanks to Jason, who has been able to up early this morning to be on a call as well. And thank you to all the work you're doing at Starr for science development in Ghana. So, where are we as Ghana? I would say it is actually very poor when it comes to air quality. Um, so I briefly heard Vito, and I'm getting an echo. I don't know if you're having a similar thing there.
We are not having an echo.
Okay, great. So globally, as he was saying, 99% of the world's population is exposed to, dirty air. The other key thing to consider is the fact that we do not have an idea which of the world's cities is actually the most polluted because we don't have data from everywhere. However, from what we have from Ghana, it's disturbing to the point that there's a current research from Health Effects Institute that states that um, in the African Union, which is where Ghana also falls as a part, uh, the air quality level within Ghana that children are exposed to or we are exposed to is 100 times more than what is experienced in the global north countries, for example, in the US or the UK. And so we are not faring well. And if you look at it again, 28,000 Ghanaians die every year due to exposure to air pollution. And we do not even bear in mind that we don't have, uh, very good health surveillance data to be able to even project what exactly the exact representation is. But all these are based on models. And so that is where we are. And I don't think it's a very good place. I will leave it as that. And then we can pick it again.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. So, what are some of the factors contributing to this high level of air pollution in Ghana? Jason?
I'm not. Oh, there's the same echo again. Oh, the I think. Oh, there's still a little bit of echo. That's okay. But thank you so much for having me. I think, there's lots of different reasons that there's air pollution around the world, right? In terms of industrial operations, just in terms of everybody living their lives and, doing things like burning leaves, as well as some of it is actually just natural in terms of the air and the wind and you know activities where there's desert and those types of things, right? So I think overall, typical contributions of air quality, there is some level of natural PM 2.5 or natural dust around, right? But typically most of the other stuff is man-made, and that usually leads to, vehicle traffic, industrial operations, as well as, kind of what people do in their everyday lives.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let me now return in studio and speak to Victor. So I understand that participatory science is one of the ways to address this particular issue. But first of all, what is participatory science?
All right, thank you so much, Nadidi, for this question. All right, so in terms of participatory science, just like the word says, participatory. So this is where the citizens or people um, are part of collecting data, analyzing data, and then interpreting data that is pertaining to air quality. And then the people involved here basically can be students, community members, and they're not like the traditional research where you not involve them, you pick the data yourself. But this time around, you involve them from the beginning to the ending. All right, so this is the data. What do we do about it? So together you co-design a mitigative measure. So basically, when you talk of participatory science, it is citizen science.
Okay, so more of collaboration between the scientists and the people of the area.
Exactly.
Okay, has it been identified to be more effective in dealing with some of these issues, such as the air pollution we're experiencing?
Sure. It's very promising because we as a group, Clean Air One Atmosphere, where we use low-cost sensors to monitor air quality, and then basically we do that using the citizen science approach.
Okay.
And then we did a work in McGee's, Methodist Girls Senior High School, where we mounted a sensor involving the students and the school's authority. Actually, we partnered with the STEM club. So from the scratch to the ending, with the data we've collected, interpreted them with the students, they co-designed a mitigative measure where the recycling plastic bottles or reusing plastic bottles and sachet, and then having a greenery on campus to reduce the dust emission. And then, yes, it's quite promising.
Okay, so you would say that you have seen visible results using participatory science to address some of these issues.
Exactly.
All right, let me go back online and speak to Collins as well. Of course, sometimes people are used to a certain way of doing things or a certain way of life. How easy is it to convince people to side with you in doing something that will be beneficial to the environment? Collins?
Thank you so much once again. Very good question. My brain doesn't function very well in the morning, but let's see. So, it's just like traditionally, when you even look at agriculture, right? Let's look at it that way. In agricultural extension, what happens is that when you're telling the old farmers how to do things or new ways of doing things, it is very difficult for them to actually take because they are used to the old ways. They'll tell you this is how we used to do it. This is how our forefathers have been doing it. I remember even at some point walking on the streets because what I used to do is just to tell the people whenever I see somebody burning rubbish or refuse that you don't have to do that because it is contributing to poor air quality, which the wind will blow in a particular way, or even to your own home that might affect somebody that is asthmatic or somebody that is sensitive to air pollution. And so uh, it is very challenging. But the key thing is to speak to the hearts of the people by presenting the facts, and which is also by way of letting them understand that there is a health burden, there is an economic burden, and all of those comes to play. And so which is also the reason why I see that by engaging the public and not necessarily scientists, but also everyone to be able to collect air quality data, they can see the first-hand knowledge of what air quality or air pollution is, and so they'll be able to appreciate the fact that there need to be a change. and which is also why we think it is very important to do citizen science or participatory science. So indeed, it is challenging, but we're getting there little by little. But just making sure that we present the facts. And the key thing is air pollution is not visible, and the only way to make that visible is to present the data. And so engaging the people to collect the data that will make air pollution visible is very important for them to be a part of the change. Thank you.
Okay. Jason, why is it crucial to have younger people involved in participatory science? Victor did mention that, for instance, they are working with students students at McGee's, right? If I'm correct, yes. And so, why is it crucial to involve the younger ones, especially students, in participatory science?
Um, that's a great question, and actually, like just to clarify, I think you had asked why is it crucial to get the younger ones, particularly students, involved in participatory science, and I think it's because what you learn as a child really impacts how you think of the world as you grow, right, and as you evolve, and I think it actually has a very outsized influence in terms of how we all view the world as we become adults, right? And so I think it's one of those things where if you try to change me in terms of my habits because I'm older, it's much more difficult for me to change. Whereas if you have someone who, is going to primary school, right? I think the time and the curiosity they actually have, right? But then B is that because as they're still developing, they don't already have established views of the world. And in that sense, right, as they participate and as we make air quality real for them, it becomes a significantly more return for us as they evolve and grow and compound that they start realizing, hey, this is really real. And then they start realizing, hey, I should be changing my behaviors based on this whole new set of data and this whole new set of facts that was not clear, right? As Colin said, air quality is, invisible in some sense, right? And so as those younger people,
In
it's
rela-
really important to make sure that they are cognizant. Go on.
so the question I was
Oh,
about
to make sure they're
asking.
cognizant of
Okay.
this. Sorry, go on.
I think that the network was breaking. So, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. One question I have in mind is, we've been talking about air quality and air pollution and all that. These days, something that has been trending a lot in terms of products is air purifiers. Do they work? I think the network is not on our side. So while the internet does its thing, I will direct the question to you, Victor. I mean, I see a lot of the time these days there's this craze about air purifiers and all that. Do they work?
All right. So thank you so much. It's a nice. So what happens is with the air purifiers, it depends on the size of the air purifier. It
Okay.
depends on the conditions around. It depends on where you're going to use it. Indoors will be good.
Okay.
Because indoors there's not much air coming in. But outdoors we need to work only within a specific area and not necessarily the wider range.
Okay.
So to tackle this will be from the roots, not from the top, because
Okay.
that will not be much effective.
Okay. So should we all be wearing masks? The way the statistics are looking, should we be wearing masks?
It's advisable to. It's advisable
Really?
to as a temporary measure.
Okay.
And then, if necessary, you reduce your outdoor activities because the more you are exposed, the more it affects you.
Okay.
And very soon we'll have the northeast trade wind, right?
Yeah, which is a
Where
Hamatan, right?
Yes,
The dust that comes with
exactly.
it. Yes.
So I remember some time ago that was when. The data was shout about that Accra is polluted.
Yes, when
but that time was
when it was so dusty and
exactly,
yes,
exactly.
and the people would go and check the meter all the time, and we are always around the red mark.
Exactly. So whilst we are gearing up for that season, we have to max up.
So even with that season not even there yet, we are not even there yet. Look at our figures. When
Yes.
it comes, it means that it's going to skyrocket.
Exactly.
Wow. Interesting. So beyond engaging students, for
Yes.
instance, that you are, as we say here, catch them young to let them understand the effects of some of these activities and what we can do to mitigate. What other measures are you rolling out to, up people's interest in participatory science?
All right. Thank you for that. So before I move on to your question, exactly. Okay, you are rolling out another participatory science in Salvation Army Senior High School.
Okay, where's that located?
Akim Wenchi, Eastern Region,
okay.
where I teach as well.
Okay.
And what we do is to institute a club. They own the monitor. They monitor the air quality. They co-design measures to reduce the pollution, and then they serve as ambassadors. So what that means is when they go home, wherever they find themselves, they'll be the masterpiece now.
Okay.
Mommy, you don't have to bend this. We can reuse this for a different purpose to reduce the amount of pollution we are exposed to. So besides that, we also do engagement. Currently, there's a program running by the Ghana Think, hashtag Clean Air Ghana.
Okay.
So with that, we publicize on how to reduce our pollution levels, how to actually know what pollution is, how it affects our health. Because if you don't know it, you would just do it anyways. So the more you are aware of what is happening, the more consciously you are developing that strategy of mitigating air pollution. Besides that, we're also running some projects. We have one running currently in the Volta region, Oxygen City project with the Volta EP at home.
Okay.
And then basically, on the normal, we get our air quality data using low-cost sensors or miniaturized sensors, participatory science, and we communicate the data with the whole citizens. So very soon we'll release some communiques on that and then engage them on the radio stations and then with the various assemblies, and we pick it up from there. So that's
basically that's it. Okay.
Yes.
Let's go back onto the telephone lines. We'll be able to re-establish contact with Jason and Collins. I'm just going to quickly wrap up with the two of you, and then I'll come in studio and wrap up with Victor as well. Can you hear me? Collins and Jason, can you hear me? Okay. It looks like technology is not my ally today. Can you hear me, gentlemen? Okay. All right. This is quite tough, but it's okay. It happens from time to once in a while. It's technology. So, yes, you've talked about some of the initiatives you're rolling out and all that. Usually, what goes into your selection of, for instance, a school to participate in this? And you being a teacher, what whipped your interest in air quality?
All right, thank you so much. That's interesting. So way back a couple of years ago, I happened to chance on a tweet, right, by Collins. He's the founder of the organization.
Okay.
And then he's talking about air pollution. I was wondering, how can we have no much idea about this, even though we know air pollution is bad? We don't really hear of it that often. And then I kept following his work, and I realized that no, we need to do something before, because, like he said earlier, the thing about air pollution is we don't see it; it's invisible.
Yes.
So what makes it visible is the data, and then the communication, the analysis, and the engagement. So that pricked my interest. Why can't I join this guy to do this? And then I DM'd him, and here we are. I'm leading the organization.
This is how many years ago?
Almost 2 years now.
Wow.
Almost 2 years.
Okay.
So,
And
yeah,
that's congratulations then. So
Thank you.
what do you hope to achieve in the long run
Great.
as we wrap up this conversation?
Sure. So basically, what we want is to engage, educate, and empower citizens. Because without the engagement and the education, there will be no empowerment. So we are empowering everyone to get on board. Let's fight this invisible killer. Let's make it visible enough for us to fight, and then get the government on to support with legislation and whatsoever they can do to match up with other developing countries, because this actually costs government a lot. Because if you're having about 28,000 people dying every year, that's we are losing labor, and the people falling sick. They wouldn't go to where productivity is reducing, and then it's affecting everything. So basically, we are hoping that we get everyone involved, every citizen involved, and then the government involved to fight this invisible killer.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today for this insightful conversation. And I believe that participatory science should not even end with air pollution alone. In various aspects of our lives, participatory science should be something that must be encouraged across board. I was joined in the studio by Victor Jidefo Ablo. He is the lead for Clean Air One Atmosphere. Also, we're joined over the telephone line by Collins Gameli Hodoli. He's a PhD lecturer, Smart Technologies, UESD, and founder of Air Quality Advisor and Diplomatic Strategist, CAOA. And also, we're joined by Jason Peng Gu. He is a PhD Chief Technology Officer, Senseit Technologies USA. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us for this conversation today.
All right, thank you so much, Nadidi. And a huge thank you to your team for having us.
All right.
We hope to meet again another time, and then we'll take the conversation a top notch.
Absolutely.
Let's make the invisible killer visible.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Victor, and thank you once again.